Franchise tag deadline passed yesterday with only 2 tags. The fewest since 2006. Last year there were 8. In 2012 there were 18. Of course, 6 of them were for kickers and punters, but still there were 18. This year, 2. Trey Smith, the Chiefs guard, and as we discussed yesterday, Bengals receiver Tee Higgins. The big name that wasn't tagged, Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold. We don't know where that's going to go, but the reality is, just like Kirk Cousins a year ago, they couldn't have tagged him, but the reality is he goes and sees what else is out there.
Right.
And maybe he goes somewhere else. Maybe he stays with the Vikings, but he's free and clear as of next Monday at noon Eastern to talk to any other team about the possibility of becoming their quarterback with no compensation to the Vikings other than consideration for compensatory draft pick in 2026.
Yeah, no, and I think, we discussed this a little bit yesterday. I'm not shocked by that, the Minnesota's decision in that department. Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy, they invested it. They got a Daniel Jones there that could be the Sam Darnold 2.0, right? We talked about if they did franchise tag him, okay. There's the first of, is the NFL going to be really willing to trade for him and then also go, yeah, we want to pay $40 million a year for a guy that we're not totally sure is the future and, the long-term answer here? I think there was more negatives than positives when it all lined up for the Minnesota Vikings, at least looking through their lens and getting Sam Darnold. Or bringing him back in general, as we discussed too, right? That's not going to do any good either. As soon as, he hits a bump in the road, doesn't play as well you drafted J.J. McCarthy. Why don't you play him? Why doesn't he play? So it's just going to cause more problems than I think it's worth. And like we talked about yesterday, J.J. McCarthy was the original plan. Trust your evaluation. Go from there. As far as the 2 franchise tags, it is shocking. It's shocking, right? But there is an old adage in the NFL of hey, really good players don't hit the market, right? They don't hit the market more times than not. I know there's a few every year, and there's some different circumstances that lead to a guy every now and then being a big-time player and getting to the market. But for the most part, no. As we know, there's a lot of tools in place in the NFL. Our smart teams know, that guy's good. Let's not let him hit the market and drive up the price crazy here on us. Let's get out in front of it. And I think that's kind of the repercussions we're seeing here of why there was only 2 guys franchise tagged, and the NFL stayed out in front of a lot of these good players and not letting them get to this point.
I was talking to somebody yesterday who said it's become even worse, which is better for good players.
Right.
That the teams are understanding you don't screw around and get a guy that you really regard as a key piece of your roster even close to free agency. You identify them and you sign them. And yes, there's always a chance a dysfunctional team is going to screw everything up and let, a great running back, put on a hoodie like this a year ago. But they weren't alone. There were other teams that did it. But that was even more proof for these teams out there. We have a young player we value. We're not letting him get close to free agency. That's why the Panthers signed running back Chuba Hubbard during the season.
Right.
The Cardinals, boom, running back James Conner.
Right.
He's been a touchdown machine for them since signing with Arizona after getting his career started in Pittsburgh. Boom, let's get this done. We're not going to be the John Mara of the 2025 season where we have to deal with our running back who is very good for us being very bad for us by jumping to one of our rivals and making us look like idiots. So I think that more and more teams are doing it. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.